touch is a nose boop to the palm of our hand. We can use this as a way to focus our dog on us, as well as redirect them away from something they may be getting into.
Yes, good boy. Sit down. Yes. 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 Sit. Yes. Good boy. Truman. Sit. Down. Yes. Good boy. Sit. Sit. Yes. Good boy. Down. Yes. Good boy.
For
Truman,
our
come.
recall, we're going to be calling their name, Truman, and then come. As soon as he turns to look at us, we're going to mark yes and start praising. Marking yes as soon as they turn to look is a really important piece of this, and it's what gets them kind of moving and excited to come with you, because they know that yes means a reward at the end. You can practice this in a fenced-in backyard, as well as on a long leash in the front yard or in a public area, to just kind of build up more distractions and their ability to do it in a more distracting or emergency situation. Place means go there and stay there until released. Truman's release word is free, and that means he's free to get up and do what he wants. If he gets up and you did not release him, it's simply sending him back and starting over. When you send him back, it is really important that you don't reward, or you will get caught in a loop where he thinks he can get off just to be sent back and get a treat. So if you send him back, you do not treat. You make him kind of work for it a little bit, add a little duration or a little bit of distance, and then come back and reward. With place, as you'll see I'm doing here, it's just practicing longer duration of time between reinforcement, as well as practicing things like distance that you can get from him while he can stay, going out of sight, and other small distractions like opening cabinets, sitting down, dropping items on the floor, all of those things. And you can practice those in these kind of formal training sessions. Here's another one where we're practicing in a new location, which is also really important if you want to be able to use place in other scenarios like at a brewery or a restaurant. So you can see we're practicing here distance and then a little bit of kind of going out of sight or where he can't fully see me, like around the corner of the table. You want to make sure you're practicing all of these factors because it all plays into his effect and the ability of him being able to stay. As he gets better with place, you're just going to slowly space out how often the treat comes and add more duration of time between treats, and that also can mean more distractions in that duration between reinforcement. The other way you can practice this is in real life context, so context where you think you'll actually want him to be able to do place. So for instance, you can do this while you're working at your desk, during dinner time or cooking. This is a really good time to practice longer durations of time, right up to 20, 30, 40 minutes of time. And you just, same thing, you're just going to slowly be reinforcing it throughout that time. And if he gets up, you just send him back and continue with what you're doing. Truman is doing really well with place. He's very motivated. And if he knows that reinforcement is possible, he is willing to stay for pretty long durations and does stay on his mat during things like dinner. In this video here, I'm actually doing the dishes. And I think the total time was around like 20 to 25 minutes. But he has done it even longer through dinner time, which is 30-ish to 40 minutes. He often will fall asleep on his mat after some time. And so if that happens, you want to just stop with the reinforcement because we don't want to disturb him while he's sleeping. Let him rest. That's amazing. That means he's relaxed and he's staying on his bed, and that's perfect. If you notice that he's back up and he's moving around on his bed a little bit, you can go right back to reinforcing him. Wait means stop and do not go any further. So when we say wait, we're kind of drawing an imaginary line and we're saying you cannot go any further. It does not matter if he sits, stands, lays down, or even walks back the other direction, like in this case, back through the house, as long as he does not go any further, which is kind of crossing that threshold of the door, which is the line I drew when I said wait. This comes in handy when you have things like somebody's at the door, or you have a package at the door and you want to go get it off the porch, that you're not holding your dog back while you're trying to do those things. So you say wait and go do the thing. If he starts to move towards the door, you would shut the door, come back to him, kind of back him up and say it again and start over. Once I'm in and the door's shut, then I will reward. You can also use this in situations like stairs so that you don't have a dog that is tripping you as you go up and down stairs. The other time I like this is anytime we're going to take a walk, I'm going to ask my dog to wait at the door. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to use that word free as to release him through that line. So wait does not need released unless you're going to let them cross that imaginary line you drew. So here's us working on it a little bit more, just kind of trying to advance it. We're trying it in a new place, a new location, which always is a little bit harder than in a familiar place like home, as well as practicing out on a walk. And I really like it for this situation in case something happening and you need them to wait while you continue moving forward, or even asking them to wait if you accidentally drop a leash or are picking up poop, anything like that. You can use that wait cue, and then when you're ready for him to start walking again, you can use that free.
Free. Good boy. Leave it.
Leave it means stop and back away from the thing you were heading towards. So you can practice in training sessions by dropping treats. Here's kind of an example where I had left some treats while I was moving the camera. And then here I did the same thing, but practicing the kitchen, right? A scenario where there actually would be food. Drop it means spit out the thing that is in your mouth. He doesn't pick up a lot of unwanted items, but he's doing really great with drop it. So that is a string cheese stick, which is a pretty big ask. I'm telling him to drop it, and you can see he's spitting it out and getting his reward.
Leave it. Yes. Good boy. Bells.
With the potty bells, you're going to want to take one step kind of back when you go home just to make sure that he understands that he can do this at home as well. So what that's going to look like is having the bells on the door, or even just holding them near the door and asking him to bells. When he hits the bells, you toss a treat to him and then ask him again, and do that several times until you feel confident that he is, remembering what bells are and that he can do this at home as well. Once you feel good with that after a session or two, then you can start putting it on the door, and then every time you take him out to potty, you're going to cue him bells. He rings the bells and the door opens. Over time, he's going to learn that is corresponds, that when he rings the bells, he gets to go outside, and he'll start ringing it to ask to go out. One other thing that I make sure I like to practice is some persistence with the bells, so that if he rings it and you didn't hear it, or he thinks he rung it but it didn't actually make a noise, that he's persistent in trying again to get your attention and doesn't just give up and go potty in the house. So every once in a while when I'm practicing it still with the treats, I'll ask for bells. If he rings it, I will wait a second, let him ring it again, and then give him his treat. So then you just start just like this. When you're going to take him out, you'll say bells, he rings the bells, and then you're going to open the door and take him out.
Yes, good boy. Puncher. Outside. Bells. Yes, good boy. Come on.
All right, so I am out on a walk with Truman, and we're just going to kind of talk about loose leash walking and show you what it looks like with him. So yes, good boy, Truman. He has been doing really great with leash walking. He walks beautifully, stays pretty focused the whole time. Obviously, he's a puppy and gets distracted, and that's just normal. But overall, you can see he's pretty focused. The big thing that we're doing here is, instead of waiting for him to do the wrong things like pull and then correct that, we're actually going to do what I call rewarding good choices. Yes, good boy. And that's what you see me doing here. Instead of waiting for those negatives to tell them they're not what we want, I'm going to wait until he does good things and tell him that is what I want. Those are the good things. So I'm going to teach him what loose leash walking is versus what it isn't. So when he's walking the way I would want him to, yes, I'm going to mark yes and reward him. So good choices can be walking right next to me like he is now with a loose leash. It can even be slightly in front of me, but the leash is still loose, no pulling. Or just offering me eye contact when there's a lot of distractions, especially. Yes, good boy. And then we're just going to mark and reward him. We want to make sure that we're rewarding him with the hand closest to him, so that he's not crossing over in front. Because he will definitely be the dog that does that, because he's so motivated to work with you and by the food. Yes, we want to make sure we're rewarding him right at our side, so all the good stuff happens here, and that keeps him closer to us. If he wants to sniff, we're going to let him sniff as long as he's not dragging us somewhere. He's still within length of the leash and there's still some looseness. So I'm going to let him check things out if he wants, and then when we're ready, we're just going to keep moving on. If he hadn't moved on yet and I was ready to move on, then I would cue him, let's go, and praise him when he follows through. Yes, good boy. So with the rewarding good choices, this is what it looks like. You're just going to simply be waiting and catching all those good things that he does and reward him for those. And then as he gets better at leash walking, you're just going to slowly space out how often you reward those good choices until you really don't need them anymore. Yes, except for in maybe higher distraction environments. But overall, he has done really well in those environments. This way! Good boy. So this way is our cue. Yes, that we are changing directions. And so you can see you're just going to say it and move, and then when he follows through, you can mark and reward that. Good boy, True. So as I was saying, you're just going to kind of slowly space out how often the treats come as he gets better and better, but you want to make sure you don't rush it. Don't go cold turkey, because otherwise you will start to lose the walking nicely behavior if you go too fast on it. So be prepared right now to go out with a treat pouch and a lot of treats, more than you think you'll need. It's always better to have more than it is to run out. And then your leash. Yes, good boy. Good boy. And you can see every once in a while he kind of gets a bit quicker pace and gets a little ahead, but he's still keeping a loose leash. And so I'm not correcting that. I'm not doing anything except for when he kind of slows back down, rewarding that, because that is him noticing, right, kind of his boundary. And a couple times he started to kind of walk slightly over in front, and all you're going to do to keep him on the side is just kind of take a little step around him and get him back on that side. So like right now he's kind of gone a little in front. He slowed down a little bit when he realized, and I'm going to walk around. We're going to keep him on that side. Whoa! If he completely crosses like he just did with a big dart like that, we're just going to stop, get him back on our side that we want him on. Yes. Good boy. And then reward that. Good boy, Truman. So this is what it's like walking with him. Pretty simple, just catching all the good stuff and rewarding it. But overall, he is walking so nicely, so beautifully, and he's such a pleasure to take on a walk. That's a wrap on Truman's training.